This story is about 2 weeks old, but as most of you have seen, I turned the channel over to a family member who rebranded it, but he gave up quickly when he didn't get the views he expected to get. So he turned the channel back over to me, and I am back narrating videos. Unfortunately, you will not get beach scenes, at least not for a while. I recently found another channel that took 37 of the videos from the channel, didn't even change the thumbnails, and tried to blend the backgrounds that I have in my videos here in Florida, that I took with my camera by reducing the opacity. Some people are just fucking thieves. So now it's just my face telling the story with a moving watermark. So when I find the videos that are taken from my channel, I can strike them with ease. So let's get into this story. He says, my wife was cheating on me for about 3 years, and I found out by going through her purse, and I found matches from a high-end hotel. My wife and I have been married for 9 years. We have one daughter. I got a DNA test to prove she was mine. Smart man. He is a step ahead of most men who are in the same situation. My wife works for the Orange County Sheriff's Department as a clerk. She has had this job for about 5 years. Before that, she was a manager at a department store. My wife has a few girlfriends she hangs out with, and they usually do happy hour at least once a week. I own a lawn care service here in Florida. We pretty much cut grass most months out of the year. I can vouch for that. Even when it's cold here in Florida, which is rare, you see people cutting grass. Well, one night when my wife asked me to get a credit card out of her purse because she was buying something from Amazon, I happened to catch a glimpse of some matches in her purse from a high-end hotel. I thought to myself, why is there matches in her purse? She doesn't smoke. I don't know if matches in someone's purse is a major red flag, but it could be if the person doesn't smoke or has a hidden smoking habit her spouse doesn't know about. I didn't question her about it, just made a mental note and the name of the hotel that was imprinted on the matches. Fast forward about 2 weeks, and my wife said she and her friends were going to a bar that I knew of. Well, I was glad she was going out. It gave me a chance to call the number that was on the matches. I remembered the number that was on the matches and called it. When I called the number, a guy answered the phone. We went round and round, and eventually he told me my wife and him were seeing each other, and he didn't want to tell me anything else, but he did. I asked him what would he do in my situation, and he told me everything. He told me how long they've been seeing each other, about 3 years on and off. He told me how they met, disclosed that they met from a dating app at first. Then one day when she was supposed to be at work, she got a hotel, hence the matches. Wow, maybe her AP is a stand-up guy. But the part that got me was when they met on the dating site, she told him she was going through a divorce and she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. After our conversation, he vowed to stop seeing her. He didn't know she was married and wanted no part of it. I also asked her AP not to say anything to her about our conversation, and he said he wouldn't. My wife got home about midnight, and she seemed a little upset, or maybe even crying, but I didn't say anything or try to comfort her. I'm assuming that her AP told her that it was over is why she may have seemed upset or maybe even crying. On my way to work the following morning, I called a few divorce attorneys in the area and made an appointment to see one for a free consultation. Florida is a no-fault state, so it was no need for me to jump through any more hoops to prove she was cheating. I didn't care about alimony, but I wanted my lawyer to try and fight for me not to pay any, and Governor DeSantis just signed away forever alimony. But in Florida, the attorney told me anything over 7 years, she could make a valid alimony claim. We went over finances, and I was willing to split the savings we have together in the house when it sells. I filed for divorce that day for irreconcilable differences. I told her when we first got together, cheating was a deal breaker for me. About a month and a half later, my wife was served with divorce papers at her job, and she didn't even call, nothing. My guess is, what would she say? Some women will call and ask what the hell is going on. Some women won't. My wife and I got home at the same time, and all she said to me was she would be out of the house by the end of the week. She didn't say anything about alimony, but she did say, "I will fight you for custody of our daughter. She is 4 years old." At the divorce hearing, we split the savings 50-50, the equity in the house when it sells, which wasn't much. We've owned the house about 10 years, and we've owned it almost as long as we have been together. Unfortunately, I had to pay alimony for a year in the amount of $400 per month. She tried to get more, but the judge cited that she was getting half of the savings and half of the equity in the home, and she had a job of her own. Actually, I think he made out okay. That's a drop in the bucket for him. He's probably making close to $10,000 per month with his lawn business. So yeah, I think he made out pretty good. We ended up with 50-50 custody of our daughter. I couldn't get full custody of my daughter. The judge didn't see any evidence that she didn't have the child's best interest at heart. About a month after the divorce, I put the house up for sale. It took about another 2 months to sell, and there was about $23,000 in equity that we split. Fast forward another 3 weeks, and I found out that my ex-wife was bad-mouthing me to my friends and family, saying I was abusive, that I cheated on her, is why we divorced. Now see, in this instance, having some type of proof besides the matches would have been worthwhile to defend yourself. But, to my surprise, most of my friends and family didn't believe her. That happens when a lot of people know your character. They've been around you a long time. As most of my friends told me, they just didn't believe what she was telling them based on our interactions and hanging out with us. In some cases, your friends and family, just like I said, they know better. They don't need to see anything else. They know you are not the monster your ex is claiming you to be. We are both in our early 30s. I forgot to do some financial cleaning. I removed my ex-wife as beneficiary from my life insurance policy, and I removed her from my credit cards. He should have done that in the beginning. Fast forward 3 months, my wife called me from the emergency room and asked me to come pick up my daughter. Now, mind you, I am thrown for a loop as to why this was all happening. Apparently, her new boyfriend beat her up in front of my daughter. The only thing I told her was she needed to fix this, or I would fight her for full custody of our daughter. She eventually stopped seeing him and apparently didn't have any guys over when she had our daughter. Right now, I am contemplating on taking her back to court for full custody, but I am going to wait to see how this plays out. My ex-wife has been trying to slide back into my life, and I told her to stop wasting her time. It will never happen. We have a daughter together, and that's it. That's as far as our relationship will go. If I have any other updates, I will be sure to let Tony know.